West fans!
It's the agents of Beastgrave.
Yes, and we're here today to tell you about the new Universal cards from the Grymwatch box. Grymwatch!
Now, we're not going to go through the warband specific ones.
No, I have done that separately, and it was a literally first pass. Look, this is the first time I've ever looked at the cards.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
oh my god!
Yeah, basically so. But do go watch that, check that out. But do ask if you want more detail, then do ask.
But we've got them all here. We've got the Universal one. Now, oddly, there's only 27.
You get odd, yeah.
It's really weird. You get 32 faction specific cards and 27 Universals, which is a really weird number. But let's not focus on the weird. I don't know. Peculiar. Very strange. But there we go. So we shall crash on with them. We're going to run through them all. It's going to be a very quick pass. We're not going to go too much into them. We're just going to describe them to you, and yeah, we'll just crack on.
Yep, brilliant. Okay, we're going to start with this spell because there is only one spell and you've already seen it.
Yes.
It's Mass Upheaval. It's the one that's almost impossible to cast but enables you to flip the feature tokens.
You have to roll for each one and it flips them over one way or the other.
I'm pretty sure nobody will ever take that card, but that is Mass Upheaval.
Two swirlies.
Two swirlies for a roll of a channel. So
Yeah.
for a 50-50 chance of each one. Can't see how
Not going to have that one.
No.
So let's crash on with the cards. I've got the upgrades. Robin's got the ploys there. First one is Amber Bone Axe. It's pretty much like you know, your I can't even think of what it's called. Your shade glass axe, yeah, your nullstone. It's your classic axe combination with your range and your close up attack.
Yeah, so if you throw the axe, you completely lose it. You don't completely lose the axe if you use it as a weapon, though. What happens, Pete?
Ooh, it says if this attack action takes an enemy fighter out of action, discard this card and gain 1 glory point.
Ooh, I quite like that.
I do like that.
Nice.
It's a little bonus, but it's not too much.
2 extra glory, and you discard the card. I think. It's, So it's kind of I think.
What's the next one, Robin?
The first ploy is a Restless Prize. Pick one objective token and move it into an adjacent hex up to 2 times.
I like that.
You cannot move it into a lethal hex or a hex that includes a feature token.
Cool. Nice little bit of objective moving around.
So you can't move into a blocked hex.
Ooh, interesting.
So that's interesting. I quite like that. I think that'll be the objective play is coming.
It is,
and that
it's coming.
And there's a spell like that, isn't it? It's like Imbue with Life.
Yes,
it's slightly easier to use and easier to control. So I think that's going to replace Imbue with Life.
I think so. Next one is Blood Thief. It's a 2 hammer 2 damage attack, and if it succeeds, you heal 2 damage, but then you discard the card. So it's not bad. It's a little bit of a bonus again.
Yeah, I quite like that. It's quite like that. It's got extra little flipple.
Yeah, a little flipple.
I've got Sitting Target.
Ooh.
First attack action made by a friendly fighter to in the next activation has +1 dice and ensnare if the target has no move or charge tokens.
I like that.
So good one for early on in the round.
Yep, going after somebody who's just standing there. I've got the Larval Axe. 2 hammers. No, it's not 2 hammers. It's 2 range. But the hammers and the damage are governed by which round you're on. So it's 1 hammer, 1 damage in the first, 2 in the second, 3 in the third.
That's quite neat. And towards the end of the game, we'll get the larval lance.
It can't be modified. It does specify it, but it also isn't discarded. So could become very handy later on. Yeah, 3 hammers, 3 damage with a great strength. You're
going to be trying to hunt that guy down if he has it on too early. It's one you hold on to. I've got Cloaked in Shadow, which again is quite a long read. Choose a fighter until the end of the next activation. That fighter is a quarry. Mm-hmm. Players cannot choose that fighter when a gambit is played, and that fighter cannot be dealt damage by gambits.
Nice.
Could be, but it's quite situational. But if you can play that at the right time,
if you know your
either on your opponent or on yourself, I think it could be. It could be good.
The next upgrade I've got is Stone Form, which is a -1 move down to a minimum of 0. So it's a bit like Sudden Growth or Deathly Fortitude, which is no longer with us. The fighter becomes a quarry. If this fighter is a quarry, they cannot be pushed. So it's a bit of a negative because it makes you a quarry, but it also stops you from being pushed.
That Cloaks and Shadows makes you a quarry.
Yeah, so there's lots of quarries and hunters bouncing around.
Interesting to see how many hunter advantages there are. I'm not sure I've quite worked out in my head what you can do with that. And then the next one I've got Exhaustion, which is to do with having children.
Yep.
Play this in a power step following your activation. At the end of the next activation, choose one enemy fighter that made 2 or more actions in that activation. The chosen fighter is dealt 1 damage.
It's not bad.
I quite like it. I mean, it's basically if somebody makes a charge, because a super action would count. Then that you can deal them 1 damage.
Yeah, I quite like that. The only problem I've got with that is I'll never remember it that I've played it. So there we go.
Yeah.
Next one we've got is Survival Instincts. This fighter is a quarry. If this fighter is a quarry, this fighter is on guard.
Oh, that's curious the way they do that. I guess there must be ways of taking quarry away. It's kind of like, this fighter is a quarry if this fighter is a quarry. But well, you just said it was.
You just told me it is.
And the other one was like that.
Interesting, the picture is of an orc with a massive, great sort of mace thing.
It doesn't look like a quarry in the picture, does it?
It doesn't look very quarry.
No, but it's quite an interesting one, that, for objective play, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm not sure I'd use it.
Putting you on guard means you can't be pushed back, run around, stand objectives. Yeah, maybe.
Fate's Decree.
Ooh.
It's a reaction. Players after an opponent makes a roll as instructed by a gambit or an upgrade, but not during an attack action. Before the effect of the roll is resolved, the opponent must re-roll that roll.
Ooh, interesting. It says must re-roll the roll.
Yeah.
So if they miss.
Yeah.
But it is what fate decided, So, that's what fate decreed.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an interesting one, that, wasn't it?
Could be interesting. I'm not sure I'm going to take that one personally, but you never know.
Good in the deck with rebound.
Yep. Next one I've got is Trophy About. The image is oddly, I think it's meant to be a beastman because it kind of looks a bit like a Skaven. But gain 1 spent glory point when this fighter's attack action takes an adjacent enemy fighter out of action.
One spent glory point?
One spent glory point.
That's a new mechanic.
So it's a bit like, obviously, your Tomb of Offerings and stuff like that. But it's a spent glory point, so you can't then spend it. But it's still pretty useful, and they have to be adjacent as well.
Okay. And there's something else.
And then you gain 1 unspent glory point instead if the target was a quarry.
So if they were a quarry, you get an unspent one.
Yep.
And if they weren't a quarry, you get a spent one.
Yep.
It's an interesting idea of winning spent glory. That's a new thing, and I think that's quite interesting.
I see that could be useful. It could be really horribly sort of binding if you're in a situation where you really want some glory to be able to spend.
Yeah,
you've got that.
But it's good at the end of the game. At the end of the day, glory counts.
Glory is glory.
I've got Frenzied Search. Play this only if your warband holds 1 or more objectives. Discard 1 power card. If you do, draw up to 3 power cards. Frenzied Search, Andrew. This card should be called.
Yes, we don't have improvisation anymore.
Andrew, one of our patrons, absolutely loves improvisation during its combo, and is quite saddened at its demise.
By both their demises, yes. There you go, Andrew.
Yeah, but Frenzied Search, basically, Andrew, standard objective, you can discard a power card and draw up to 3 power cards.
So you're going to be 1 up on the deal by the end of it. Yeah. Get rid of that, get rid of another one, pick 3 up. Next one I've got, another upgrade obviously, is Hunters. I'll do it again. Next one I've got, Hunter's Reflexes, another upgrade. This fighter is a hunter. So it's nice to be able to put someone as a hunter who doesn't have it to start with. And they get a reaction. Use this after an enemy fighter's activation. If that fighter is a quarry, push this fighter 1 hex towards them.
Nice.
So, nice one, get a bit of movement.
Now I've got a Madness Dart.
Madness!
Which is curious. It's got a poison, I don't know if you can see that on there.
Probably not.
Probably not. But if you got underneath Madness Dart, it says poison. A bit like where it says Cataphrane Tomes, it says poison.
Is it sung by Alice Cooper?
It's hard to tell. It's just a card. But anyway, so I don't know what that means. But
we've not seen what poisons do yet.
But basically, you can choose 1 enemy fighter adjacent to 1 or more friendly fighters. The chosen fighter's attack action has the source characteristic instead of their printed characteristic. Ooh. This effect persists until the chosen fighter is taken out of action.
Could be really handy for stuffing up Mollog.
Oh yeah.
Your 2 hammers, they're not that good anymore.
No, not 2 hammers is great anyway. Aren't there some... There's like 3 hammer attacks and things.
So that could proper do them over.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, is it worth a ploy? You never know.
You've got to be adjacent to them. But they do persist until they're taken out of action. So.
And the next one I have is Soothing Companion, which has this lovely looking sort of weird... I don't know, kind of like an armoured leech with spikes on it attached to somebody. But it's called Soothing Companion, which is obviously very nice. And it gives you a reaction. After this fighter's activation, unless this fighter made 1 or more attack actions in that activation, heal 1 this fighter. Okay. So it's a way of getting 1 wound back if you're running away and without attacking.
Desperate Flight. So in this game, you choose 1 friendly fighter and do a scatter 4 from their hex. So scatter 4. And then you push them 3 hexes along the chain. So you've got a bit of extra... Bit of
leeway.
If the hex of a fighter would be pushed into is blocked or occupied, do not push that fighter any further. It's quite nice though. It's like a super push to get away from combat.
Kinda, but for 3 and it's a scatter. I know how my scatter dice work. So I'll just, if I want them to run completely the wrong direction, I'll take it. True. And the last one I've got is my favourite card. Nothing to do with the actual text. It's the picture. It's got a Nurgle warrior with giant spider legs. It's called Mazik's Many Legs.
And it's got little text.
Yes, it's also a spell. It's a spell action upgrade.
A spell? Oh, so it's restricted to wizards.
So it's restricted to wizards. Spell upgrade, which we haven't seen before, and it has this weird thing underneath that says Lost Page, just under the title of the card as well. Which again, we don't really know what that does yet.
Again, it's like Cataphrane Tome. I wonder if there's going to be some card.
Lots of pages. Yeah, it could be.
Card that uses it's like, I don't know. folder. Put them in.
Yeah. And it's a spell action. It has a 1 lightning. If cast, choose another friendly fighter within 2 hexes and push that chosen fighter up to 2 hexes. So that could be really handy if you've got people who have been doing lots of moving around and you want to keep shoving them further and manoeuvring onto objectives. We're seeing a lot of manoeuvring.
A lot of manoeuvring cards.
Speaking of
objectives,
let's crack through them.
How many are there in there?
So we have 9. So you've got 5 there, and I've got 4 here.
You've only got 4. It's a bit off.
So here we go. I have the Beastie Saloon. It's a surge. Score this immediately after a friendly hunter's attack action that takes an enemy leader or enemy quarry out of action. So you get a glory if you kill a leader or a quarry.
So it's like better than there's quite a few similar ones to that, but it's actually better because you've got slightly more chances.
Yes, because you might have a quarry and you might be and there's ways to make people quarries that makes them a bit rubbish.
And it's surge as well.
Surge. Yes.
I've got the Great Hunt, which is a hybrid, and actually again is an improvement on previous cards.
Yeah.
Score this in end phase if one or more friendly fighter hunters though, so each have 3 or more upgrades.
But it says 1 or more, so you can only have 1.
Yeah, 1 or more. Yeah, well, exactly. So, or 3 or more friendly fighters each have 1 or more upgrades. Now, I know the hunter thing is specific here, but most of the warbands so far have got quite a lot of hunters.
A few at least, yes. Yeah,
and there are equivalent cards for both. One objective on each, up to 3.
And one is, I think, singled out, which is 3 objectives on 1 person. So that's nice. You've got that option
hybrid,
again.
It's the same number of glory, so I think that is actually a better card if you playing hunters.
Gives you more options.
Got no hunters.
Gives you more options. Next one is Swift Capture. It's a surge and a duel. You score this immediately after an activation if your warband holds 1 or more objectives in your territory and your warband holds 1 or more objectives in enemy territory.
So when you're going for supremacy and you've reached out for that last one, and you've got
there's also the one that the Beastmen have, which is spoilers, where you get it after an activation if you hold 3 objectives. So you could double up on that. That could be like just churning glory out.
Yeah, I've got a rubbish card next to the end. It's one of those ones I was looking through the Nightlock cards the other day. I can't remember. There was a card shop. Nobody in their right mind would ever take that card. This is another similar one. Score this in an end phase if there are no cards left in your power deck.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you can't legislate for that unless there's going to be some more draw things. I mean, it's 2 glory, but I can't see anybody.
Possibly, unless you've got a 20 card hand and you're just going to deliberately throw 5 away. But for 2 glory, I don't think I'd take that really.
No, I don't think so.
Next one I've got is Scrum. Now this is a bit like a previous card as well, but it's also again slightly better. It's a surge. Score immediately after an activation. They're doing that a lot as well. If 4 or more fighters on the battlefield are in a single group in which each fighter is adjacent to at least 1 other fighter. Now it doesn't say all. And the other cards that you see of this nature are at least 3, but all of your fighters and that kind of thing. Whereas this is 4, but that's it. It's just
good
4.
for goblins, maybe.
Yeah. Well, good for there's a lot more bigger warbands.
So,
yeah.
But quite often you don't get 4
Spookies?
together.
No, but you generally have 2 2 hexes next to each other, and you've only got to move a couple of people up. Like you've got Varklav's ability, shove a couple of people forward. You've got 4 in a line.
And
bam.
it is a surge.
And it is a surge.
I have Fateful Strike, which is another surge. It's to score this immediately after a friendly fighter's successful attack action that targets a fighter with a defense characteristic of 2 or more. So basically, I'll go after your 2 dodge warbands, and hopefully you can take them out. But you have got to.
It's only got to be a successful attack. You haven't got to kill them, so it's a bit better than advancing strike and all that kind of stuff.
Cough.
You done?
Yes.
And I've got Path to Victory, which is another duel. Score this in an end phase if 1 or more enemy fighters were taken out of action in the previous phase and your warband holds 2 or more objectives. So it's another surge. You've got to hold 2 objectives. 1 or more enemy fighters was taken out in the previous phase, so you've just got to kill someone and have people standing on objectives, and you can get 2. It's 2 glory though. It's 2 glory.
Yeah,
so that's not bad.
And it's kind of rewarding both objective play and offensive play. Which I think is what the game needed.
Yes, needs a bit of that give and take.
Dug in.
Ooh.
In fact, these two are kind of the same. Dug in and Coveted Spoils are quite similar.
Dug in is quite interesting. I think it's the first 4 glory card.
Yeah, it's a 4 glory card.
I don't think we've seen a 4 glory card in any of the seasons yet.
I can't remember seeing
I think
one.
it goes like 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8 or whatever.
Score this in an end phase if your warband holds 3 or more objectives and your warband held 3 or more objectives at the start of the round. So basically, if you scored supremacy last time, hang on and score it again. Effectively, although obviously you can go around and do different things, but that's quite an interesting one, and it goes quite well with Coveted Spoils, which is score this in end phase if all objectives are held.
Like it.
Not necessarily by you.
No, it just can be anyone. So you could be in that point where if you know your opponent's got that in his deck and you're going after supremacy, but he's also standing on 2, you're like, Do I go for supremacy and risk giving him coveted spores as well?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, what do I do?
Or you've got Abyssal Unmaking. It's like, do I destroy the one nobody's standing on, or do I destroy the one that my opponent's standing on? Yeah, it's a good one, that.
I'm loving this. I'm loving the hunter quarry mechanic is coming out a lot more here. We're seeing a lot more grab objectives, do stuff, surges involving objectives and all that kind of thing. Loving everything.
And loving the sheer number of objective-based objectives. Yes,
I'm loving. I can't get more excited about that.
Yeah.
Too long have we suffered under the yoke of the offensive warbands. No more.
No longer will we be pushed around by the aggressors.
Yes, we shall be the not aggressors. But anyway,
unaggressors.
The unaggressors.
Regressors.
The passives. Yes, that's it. We'll stand passively by and look smug about it. So, there you go. There are the cards. Let us know in the comments below what your favourites are in there. What are you already cooking up in your little devious minds? What are you going to be doing with all those cards? And what are must-haves and what are trash?
That one about all the power cards.
Yeah, that one's trash. Yeah. That's definitely trash. So we'll see you soon in the Beastgrave. Bye.